Hi, welcome back to another edition of the Coach's Corner. And this game is our review of the game of the week. Of course, I'm here with Clayton Holford. We got Saints versus Chiefs. I guess to start, the Chiefs continue to win on the road, man. I mean, I don't think that I think there was a stat that came out that talked about how impressive like the Chiefs, road wins have been because I think a lot of them have against like winning teams. And this year you can take, we've talked about with home field advantage, it's the same logic with playing on the road this year. You know, outside of not being able to sleep in your own bed, yeah, maybe the home field advantage hasn't worked so much, but regardless, it's still impressive they were able to do it. Just winning in this league, especially against quality opponents, is tough. Let alone fans or no fans. But Brees looked his age. I mean, he was inefficient. I think he was right around 50% completion, maybe a little under.
Just under.
Yeah, and the team carried him, to a very close loss. I think the beginning of the game, what did he start like 0 for 7 and a pick or something? Or there might have been a period of time where he
Uh,
had,
0 for 6 for the first time in his career.
yeah. I mean, he looked his age, and I don't think he was ready, but you know, we don't know. It's all speculation, but compared to what a healthy Brees traditionally looks like, either age is catching up with him or he wasn't ready, or maybe it's a combination of the both. Um, Mahomes was able to incorporate all of his weapons in the way. I mean, if you look at the stats, I think every eligible receiver was caught at least a pass or was involved in some way, shape, or form. Next, one of his weapons, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, is a major loss to end the season. I think that he might just miss the end of the regular season. And this is where that bye week, is going to be huge for the Chiefs. I think he's supposed to be back by their first playoff game, but we'll see. Injuries are kind of tricky. It's going to, I guess, put more of a major importance, or really goes to show how important it was that they were able to get Le'Veon Bell, who's going to now kind of be the workhorse in that offense. And then lastly, the Saints are still, outside looking in for the number one seed. I think this game proves that, how important it is that the Saints play at home in the dome with Brees, because and if it is he needs a little bit more healing, that it'll be, in theory, it'll be fine in the playoffs. But if he was playing this game on the road at Lambeau in the NFC Championship game when it's cold, the wind's blowing, you know,
Sorry, I didn't catch that. You can also try spelling it.
and for some reason my Siri just went off. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this?
So, this is going to be kind of a hot take. I talk about it all the time, and it drives me up a wall just to hear people talk poorly about Breeze. And you check the box score, and you sit here and you go, "Oh yeah, he's inefficient." 0 for 6 with an interception. Okay, that's a fair point to make. Let's talk about why he threw the pick. His receiver fell down, so the receiver didn't even have a chance to make a break on the
Mm-hmm.
ball. Not only that, the receiver's late getting out of his break. I don't know what the exact communication was supposed to be, if he was supposed to cut it short. But what you actually see is Breeze is ready to throw the ball. His receiver's nowhere near ready to break on the route and receive the ball. So Breeze actually comes up, pumps, holds it, and then follows through. Breeze is a rhythm thrower. That's not a throw that you'd see him make.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of pressing a little bit. I do think he was healthy, but the thing we have to talk about is no Michael Thomas. We've seen how this offense has kind of struggled away from Michael Thomas. What a Taysom Hill have in Breeze's absence. We had a healthy Michael Thomas for the first time all year. So it just changed the entire complexity of the offense just by having, an elite wide receiver out wide. So you sit here and you talk about, I've heard noodle arm, dead arm. I've heard all the insults. Really? Because he delivers a 50-yard strike to Emmanuel Sanders perfectly in stride down the sideline that almost goes for a score, right? So it's like, if he's got a noodle, it's not going to get there. Okay, it just blows my mind because we see Tom Brady make the same throw 10 yards out of bounds, missing Mike Evans, streaking butt naked down the field. Not a word is said by the media. Not a word is said by everybody on Twitter talking trash. Nothing said by anybody. And instead they go, why didn't Mike Evans catch that? Well, it's probably because he doesn't have go-go gadget robot arms to catch it out of bounds.
I
Tom
like
Brady,
it.
why don't you
Go
put it
go
anywhere in his
gadget.
vicinity? Yeah,
I
he's
haven't
not
heard that in
Inspector
a while.
Gadget.
I haven't heard.
He's not
That was
Inspector
a great
Gadget.
movie.
He's not Plastic Man. You know, he's not Superman. He doesn't have superpowers to go get this ball. Why don't you put a catchable ball on him, Tom Brady, and he will catch it. But
I got an
instead, you
older
miss
one
him
for
out of
you.
bounds.
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, Plastic Man, baby, DC Comics. So you're talking about all this, and it's really frustrating because it's just like, yeah, was Brees inefficient? Yeah. But then, we drive it back to the play calling, and it goes, Sean Payton inhibited this offense. I've missed you, Sean Payton. I've missed dogging your play calling on this show. I really have. It was kind of a thing where I was talking about props to you. No, I didn't like giving you credit. I like bashing you. Listen, Sean, the thing is, you're still inhibiting Drew Brees because there at the end, you know what you do? You turn him loose, and what's he do? He throws 3 touchdowns. He brings you back, gets you in the game. He starts throwing it to Kamara. Kamara, 3 catches, 40 yards and a touchdown. These are the things that just we look at. Will Jordan Humphrey caught a touchdown. I didn't even know the guy was in the
Right
NFL
at
after coming out of
Texas.
Texas.
Love him.
I mean, what in the world? So, yeah, you look at this from the Saints side and you go, this is maddening. Sean Payton's back to his old ways. I feel like a Saturday morning cartoon. Curse you, Sean Payton. We'll get you next week. Like, what are you doing to your football team, Sean? Why are you just inhibiting their ability to play by it? If Drew Brees isn't healthy, that's fine. Put Taysom Hill back out there. Drew says he's healthy. Sean says he's healthy. It turns out that it was a little bit of gamesmanship to say, oh, Drew's not going to play and then starting him. But then it's like, okay, now you move Michael Thomas down, changes the offense, and then Sean Payton goes, we don't want it. You've got to throw it on a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. So if the Saints have to play a high-powered offense, if you let Drew Brees get in rhythm and throw, I'm not worried about Drew Brees. I'm worried about Sean Payton more so than Drew Brees. I'm worried about Sean Payton hurting this team's chances of winning than I am Drew Brees. And whenever now that I'm off that tangent, you look at the other side, Kansas City. They are who we thought they are. Obviously, they played a tough game. We did see a little bit of weakness, though. I mean, 32-29, that's a close game, making them sweat a little bit. Should they play again in the Super Bowl? I'm gonna bet the New Orleans Saints have a couple of tricks up their sleeve to play them. A little bit better because they got off to a bad start. They got down. They had to play come from behind ball. That's exactly what. You put Kansas City in the driver's seat. That's where they like to be. But 32-29, you're looking at that as the Saints, and you're sitting there going, we could have won this game. We play again. There's a good chance we do win this game. And I like the odds of them winning the rematch. If should they meet in the Super Bowl?
Yeah. I guess that my big thing is I think regardless, I don't know if Brees comes back next year. I don't. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, I'm a Vikings fan, so Vikings fans don't go too well. But with that comment you made with Sean Payton, we might get another stupid tree comment in the comment section. Like, so you fall out of a stupid tree and hit every branch down. That was great, by the way. That made my day. That comment. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I feel like, and we've talked about this on the show before, how important it is to have continuity between your play caller and quarterback, because that relationship has to be there, that trust has to be there. And when it's crunch time hits, you have to almost be thinking, being able to read each other's minds, and what being able to communicate what you're seeing, what's going to work, what can your quarterback do, what can your players around your quarterback do. And like I think you made a great point. Like when Sean Payton was kind of able to just let Drew do what Drew wants to do and is good at, they got back in the game. But as soon as Sean Payton wanted to get cute again, it ended a little bit differently.
Yeah. You look at the hypocrisy, and I bring it up all the time. Let's look at Bruce Arians in the Bucs again and Tom Brady. How is it Bruce Arians' fault? Bruce Arians doesn't adjust to Brady. Bruce Arians doesn't do this. You look at Sean Payton, it's the same crap, except Sean Payton's calling short stuff instead of letting Brees move the ball and do his thing. But now it's Brees' fault. That is insanely ridiculous and hypocritical, not only on people's part, but on the entire media for calling it out like that, because it's the same situation and 2 narratives being produced.
I think that Brees is more of a fit in Peyton's offense than Brees is in Arians' offense. Like I think that Brady doesn't. I feel like he doesn't fit Arians' scheme. It's not. He threw it deep a lot when he had Randy Moss. Granted, he was younger, but also it's Randy freaking Moss, man. Like, no offense to Mike Evans or Godwin or anything, but they're not Randy Moss. Like Randy Moss is one of the best ultimate. Just throw it up. He throws his hand up. You best throw him the ball. And granted, like I said, he was younger then. And I don't care what people say, Tom Brady at 41, 42, however old he is, it isn't the same player he was, what was that, 12 years ago at this point?
Right.
So I don't think it's a good, 10, 12 years ago, yeah, it would have been a great, it would have been, what they have now in Tampa would have been great for Brady. But I just feel like he's not that quarterback anymore. Now, that's just not to say that he can't throw the deep ball. I just think that having a offense based off vertical passing just isn't, and it just isn't for him.
Brady is a lot like Brees, more so than people give them credit for.
Exactly.
In that he's also a rhythm passer. He also throws with anticipation. He also likes to know exactly what's coming. And he's fine just taking what you're going to give him. He wants to see that zone defense because he knows exactly where to go with it. So you're not going to get sympathy from me, Tom Brady, because you picked that situation. You said that for you. You went there. You live with the consequences. Nobody's supposed to adjust to you. You went there. Adjust to them. You picked the destination. You left New England. You had your choice of any castle in the kingdom, and you went to Tampa Bay, which is fine. They have insane amount of weapons. I understand why you went there.
And the warm weather.
You have to, and the income tax reduction. Obviously, that's very nice for a multi-million-dollar maker.
And his wife, who makes more than him, by the way.
Right. I mean, that's also nice. But got to find me one of those. You look at overall, all these things that factored in, but that doesn't change the fact that it's Tom having to live with Tom. Tom having to live with, hey, this is on me. And somehow, some way, he still oiled himself up like a WWE wrestler, Randy Macho Man Savage with baby oil, and he slipped out of the blame again. I don't know how he does it. I wish I could do it the same way he does whenever I forget to do something at my job, whenever I get blamed, but somehow it's almost somebody else's fault.
I think he goes like this, and he shows off the bling that I don't have, just imagine.
Oh, yeah. Spygate, Bountygate.
Bountygate's
the Saints. But, there's a gate with every ring. So what I'm saying is that would be my response if old boy held his hand up to me. I'd be like, oh, let's talk about those. But, I'm also kind of a smart aleck, so that's how that would go. But, no, respect to Tom Brady for winning that many Super Bowls. Incredible feat. I respect Tom Brady. That's the thing. People think I don't respect Tom Brady. I do, but I also highly respect.
But you feel like there should be an even playing field against with quarterbacks that are similar, like that. I mean, think about in our generation: Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers too. You could put in there. Those are all quarterbacks that should have the same playing field because they're all guys that you view as top tier guys. There shouldn't be one of those guys that gets the pass.
Yeah, the litmus test that we give to quarterbacks is not the same one, okay? This is no science experiment. It's not a test and a control, right? It's none of those. The litmus test that we give to evaluate each quarterback is skewed by the evaluator, and it shouldn't be that way. Tom Brady and Drew Brees are having more similar seasons than what people are giving them credit for, but somehow, some way, Tom has slithered away. I'll say it again. You look on the other side, you look at Aaron Rodgers, a guy that's caught in every break along the road. I mean, he's played teams without their quarterbacks. He played a practice squad 49ers team. I'm sorry, Ned, it's the truth. He played practice squad guys there because the NFL wouldn't. I mean, it was bogus. The NFL should have canceled the game. They gave him a free win. And you look at that, and somehow, some ways, people still puff out their chest and say, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have anybody to throw to. Devontae Adams is a Pro Bowler. He's an all-pro guy.
I think he's one of the best receivers in the league.
He absolutely is. And so you look at that, and it's like, why is the narrative that he doesn't have anybody? And, whenever he clearly does. And, you look at Patrick Mahomes.
Now it's less than Tom Brady for sure. I mean, it's less weapons than Tom Brady, but I think Devontae Adams is better than any receiver that the Bucs have. They just don't have the depth that the Bucs have.
Right. And so, if you want to cross evaluate here, so we go Tom Brady with help, we go Aaron Rodgers, we go Drew Brees, because guess what? Michael Thomas hasn't been there most of the year. He hasn't had his elite receiver. And then you know who the next guy is? And Emmanuel Sanders that hasn't been there. Traquan Smith that's been banged up. He hasn't had his full fleet of weapons.
Is Jared Cook still a tight end for them?
He is, but he hasn't been healthy.
Yeah.
He was two catches for 29 yards. I mean, you get a big game or a big red zone threat from him, but overall, you look at why did Michael Thomas catch so many passes? Because they didn't have anybody behind him other than Kamara, right? That's still the issue. They don't have anybody. So why is Drew Brees settling with the blame here? But Aaron Rodgers gets a pass for, a loss. Well, imagine if he had some help. Boy, imagine if Drew Brees had some help behind Michael Thomas, right? It's just the litmus test isn't fair. We need to change that because, on the flip side, you look at the Chiefs in this game. Patrick Mahomes is incredible. We know that. We've seen all this. But everything Patrick Mahomes gets credit for doing, throwing the no-look pass, doing the flips and the scoops, Matt Stafford's been doing for 10 years. But he plays in a place called Detroit that's barren of talent, and nobody wants to –
Their talent retires early.
Oh, my God. And it's just like they don't want to talk about it. ESPN, it's like, oh, he's not a moneymaker. Stafford doesn't bring in the view. So, again, it's skewed. And the quarterback play from Stafford has been electric. And this play, and he's carrying guys. He hasn't played with anybody other than Megatron. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this rant is we really have to – I know this was supposed to be a review of this game, but, you're talking about how
this is our show. We can do whatever the heck we want with it.
People talking about, it kind of all blends together and comes full circle because
exactly.
We talk about Mahomes and how good is Mahomes? Well, Mahomes is great. Is he the best ever? No, not yet. He still has a long ways to go because the things you give him credit for are the same things Stafford does. Stafford gets no credit. The same faults Tom Brady has, or the same faults you give Drew Brees, Tom Brady has. Somehow Tom Brady's getting all the credit for all the Bucs wins, right? It's just like whenever you're pitting the pieces there, we have to evaluate better. We have to be better evaluators of the situation. And so, yeah, Patrick Mahomes go down probably as long as health permitting, one of the best to ever play because the dude just finds he's stupid good. He's got all the tools you can ask for, but it's got to be better because, like I said, Stafford's done this stuff for a long time now, and he had an incredible no look pass against the Titans through 3 defenders at a wicked angle, and nobody's even talking about it. And that's my point I'm trying to make is. You started off right off the bat, and I'm not coming at you or anything. It's the media. It's that's the narrative. Is Brees is hurting this team. Sean Payton's hurting this team, and Sean Payton has hurt this team and this offense all year long, and I keep calling him out for it. And so, if they get back to this, whenever they get in the playoffs, if Brees is healthy, hopefully, I need to see Brees unleashed. Give it one more chance, one more run at all he's got because. We've seen it so many times where he throws the Superman cape on and here Drew's come save the day, and he does. That whenever he does it, we go, oh man, Drew's bad. No, it's just the circumstance you put him in was too insurmountable this time, guys. It's because we've seen him do it so many times that we're like, oh my God, is he done? Because he doesn't. No, it's just that he's human. We're finally seeing that Drew Brees is showing his age a little bit. He's not able to do everything we've always seen. So, and the reaction is completely normal, but we have to evaluate it fairly.
Yeah, and I guess last point on this, I think that also doesn't help that he's ran into the Vikings twice, and the refs have screwed him over out of another.
And the Rams game as well. I mean, you look at the postseason. We were talking about this in the East-West chat. No, Viking, Minnesota Miracle. There's one game they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's flip it over. The Rams game. They'd have won that game with the PI call and making the field goal. So there's two postseason games where they're probably going to a Super Bowl, and they don't get to, and somehow it's Brees' fault.
Brees played like absolute crap that Minneapolis Miracle game in the first half, but he was the kind of catalyst to their comeback where right before the Minneapolis Miracle.
You know how it happened? They quit checking down. They quit, putting him in third and long straight drop situations, and they turned him loose to read Mike Zimmer's zone defense. And that's what I keep saying. That's when Drew Brees is at his best. And somehow, some way, Sean Payton keeps getting further and further away from that. And the blame just gets put squarely on Brees. And I'm at a loss for words. I can't fathom it. How is this happening? My blood pressure keeps spiking because I keep thinking about it.
That's a fair enough point, but we'll have a little bit more Saints later in the preview section. But if you think we got something wrong, don't be afraid to let us know in the comments. Good, bad, right, wrong. We love reading all the comments. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask it. We'll answer it next week on the Coach's Corner. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bells, and thanks for joining us. Have a happy holidays.